Hey guys! All right, I'm gonna do a Illustrator demo right now, and I'm actually going to do the butterfly. If some of you have been in DES 103, you know the butterfly. So the reason why I'm doing that is it really uses a whole lot of the tools that we are using in the assignment. You're going to use the pen tool, you're going to use the shape tool, and then you can also use the pencil tool. So it's really a great way to kind of see how all those tools can come together to achieve what it is that you are trying to do. So before I get started, I do want to point out that I like to work in Essentials Classic. Some of you who have taken courses with me, you know that that's my preferred default workspace. And the reason why is, let's take a look at Essentials versus Essentials Classic. Well, my Essentials is a big mess right now. But Essentials Classic, when you go to it, it has all of the panels that you seem to use the most, and they pop up on the screen. So that's the great thing. And I just think it's so much easier than having to go to Window all the time and open everything up. But don't forget, if you find a workspace that works well for you, what you can do is just save that workspace, save it as a new workspace, and name it your name and be like, this is Shannon's workspace. This is the way I like to work. And honestly, that's really the best way, I think anyhow, to work. And so with that being said, whoa, just got crazy. I went back to my Zoom, or not my Zoom. I'm not in Zoom right now. It's so weird not being in Zoom. Yeah, I can see it on the other screen. I'm watching to see what happened, and it just went crazy for a minute. But I'm back. All right, so let's get started on the butterfly. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn on my keycaster, which should show some of the keys that I'm hitting when I use quick keys or when I use the default keys. So I want to make sure the keystroke is short so it doesn't stay on the screen for too long. And oh, there we go. And it'll be down in the lower left-hand corner. You'll see I'm going to hit the letter V. And it should show up. So that's what you can use. If you hover over any of the tools, you can see what the quick key for that tool is. So for the black arrow tool, it's V. For the white arrow tool, it's A. For the pen tool, it's P. You know, they make it pretty self-explanatory. To get to the pencil tool, you have to go down through the shaper tool and actually get to the pencil tool. I am going to start with the pen tool. Just zoom in. And I always like to start somewhere like right in the corner here of the butterfly, kind of where his, I don't know, do butterflies have necks? I guess that's his body. The body of the butterfly meets up with the curve of his wing. I like to make sure over in the left-hand side that the color swatch is set to nothing and that my border is some bizarrely obscene color like hot pink, because I know there's nothing else hot pink on the screen right now, and I'm sure that I am, you know, what's mine that I'm working on. All right, so I'm gonna click and then click and drag. Holding down my Option key, I need to go over to this handle right here and pull the handle down just until the curve looks right. And the thing is that, and this is the space key, that weird underscore thing, you really want the least amount of points possible when you're drawing. You want to do your drawing in the least amount of points possible. And what that means is the least amount of points that you're putting on the page, the least amount of times that you are clicking that pen tool. You really want to concentrate on making those curves. And to make those curves, you need to click and drag. And see if you move those handles, and eventually it's going to feel second nature to you where you need to kind of drag the handle to. The first couple of times that you do this, you're going to be like, how do I know where to grab and drag the handle? And the funny thing is sometimes I can watch a student working and I'm like, hey, grab the handle and move it to like right here. And they're like, how'd you know that? And I'm like, I don't know. It's this weird sixth sense that after a while you just start to have. So again, all I'm doing right now is I'm outlining the outside of the body. Just following along with the image that's already there and just outlining the body. And the reason why I chose the pen tool to do this as opposed to maybe the curvature tool or the pencil tool is that I feel that I can do this in the least amount of points with the pen tool. With the curvature tool, every time you want to add a curve in, you have to add another point in the middle and then drag it out. So it's more intuitive, at least to me, to use the pen tool on the outside. And also, as far as the pencil tool goes, that's a lot of drawing and having a very steady hand the whole way around the screen. For one, really, you can't pick up the pencil. So, I have a bit of, not even a bit, I have a lot of arthritis in my hands. So that's just too much for my hands to be able to handle. So again, this is just a little bit easier on me. And it feels like the best tool for the job. Learning these programs, a lot of it is just learning what the best tool for the job is. Every program has a job and every tool within the program has a job. Adobe is a pretty hard-working machine when you get down to it. And remember, you're going to be coloring it in. Try to get, as close as you can. You don't have to be perfect. Just kind of as close as you can to the shape. This is a pixelated JPEG image here that you're redrawing. So it's not going to be, perfect, smooth vector lines like it's going to be when you're done. And there's a lot of times where doing something like this, learning how to do this is going to come in handy. Many times out in the field, I've had to redraw really bad clip art that a customer just insists on having in their ad, and there's just no way that we could run it with the clip art that they supplied. So I've had to redraw clip art that somebody found back in 1999 on the internet and printed it out once on their home computer and then scanned it in and then lost the scan because their computer crashed and then took a picture with their cell phone of the printout. And you might think, that I'm lying, that never happens. Oh, it happens. You'll get some crazy requests from a customer. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But that's one of the great things about being a graphic designer is that you see some crazy stuff and you always have a good story. You always, always, always have a good story, and your fellow designers are like, oh yeah, you think that's something. Listen to this story. So yeah, plus graphic designers are just a fun group of people. So we all commiserate all of our craziness together and, we have a good time. We have a good time when we're redrawing clip art from 1998 that was once upon a time scanned in, then lost, and then, a photo taken with the cell phone from 2003, their BlackBerry, and then they transferred it to their iPhone. I think like some of the craziest requests though are people who kind of overestimate what we can do. I mean, we can do some stuff, not for nothing. We can definitely do some stuff. I think, one of the craziest requests I ever got, and this is when I was kind of new to the field, so I really, I didn't feel all that confident. And then I was in the room with the client, and I was like, I'm afraid to say no because it's a client, but I'm going to have to just tell this person no. It was a realtor in town, and she ran, so this is the whole outside of the butterfly. So next I'm going to be moving on to the pencil tool. I'm going to use a pencil tool for all of these types of areas. So this realtor, she ran one of the bigger real estate companies in town. And again, I'm following along with the outline. And she had supplied a photo to us, which was kind of funny because the photo was clearly, when I finally met her in person, taken 20 years before. And when she came into the office, she was like, can you do me, all right, this is what I want though. I want you to take this photo and change my shirt that I'm wearing, which is red to blue. And I was like, I was kind of new, and I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure I can do that. And then she said, and I also, notice how I'm looking off to the left? And I said, yeah. And she said, can you make it so I'm no longer looking off to the left, but instead I'm looking straight at the camera? And I was like, all right, listen, I'm good, but I'm not that good. You're gonna have to take another photo. And she was like, well, I can't. And I knew why she couldn't, because she's clearly not that age anymore. I mean, embrace it. Embrace the age, I say, as I don't. But it was kind of funny. I was like, no, that one we can't do. She was like, just turn my face. I was like, I can have you reflected and looking to the right instead of looking to the left. I was like, but I can't redraw your entire face from how you looked 20 years ago and make you look like that now. I said to her, if I could do that, I probably wouldn't be working here. I'd probably be working for Disney. Now, if you have to let up on the pencil tool, you technically can. You just want to make sure that you start back where you ended your path. So you'll notice that the pencil tool kind of has an asterisk that shows. Once you hover over the last point and it shows the minus side, just click there and press down and continue to draw, and it's going to connect itself back to the path that you made. And again, we're trying to get close. We're not trying to, be perfect here. I'm trying to do the best I can. And my hand isn't the steadiest for doing this sort of stuff. In all honesty, I would probably choose to do this with the pen tool right here, but I really wanted to do a demo using all three tools. So, here we are. I'm not the best freeform artist that there is. I also feel that freeform drawing is one of those use it or lose it skills. So that's probably why. So let's get this lady all drawn. I was gonna say this guy, but I'm going with she's a lady. I don't know why, but girl power and all. And if you haven't yet, please invest in a mouse. And if you can, invest in a 2-button mouse. Don't even bother, and I'm sorry, Apple, but don't even bother if you have a Mac investing in a Mac mouse. I honestly can't stand their mice. Randomly enough, I have one of my husband's gaming mice. It's like a Razer mouse or something. I don't know. I don't know anything about it other than it says Razer on the underside, and he told me it's really good, Shannon. It's a really good mouse. And it actually is. It fits nicely in the palm of my hand, and it just makes doing work like this so much easier. I cannot for the life of me start to use a trackpad. I mean, I give kudos to anybody who can. Using the trackpad, I'm always like, ah, every single time that I use it. So really, it's worth the investment if you are planning on, you know, this is your career, this is what you want to do. Start investing now in the tools that you need to make your life easier, and a mouse will make your life easier. That one did not come out that great. Let me just go in. And you can fix the points with the white arrow tool. So that's all I'm doing is just fixing that one just a little bit. I was a little bit off there. My hand went a little crazy there and like cramped up towards the end. We've almost got one whole side of this guy done. Here we go. It's like, can she do it, ladies and gentlemen? Well, I hope so. I feel like the larger the area, kind of the harder it is to kind of keep your mouse on the desk even. And I'm going to show you a trick. You want to see my trick? Ready? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to my black arrow tool, and I'm going to start selecting each of these. Actually, let me finish this first. That'll show you my trick, because it makes more sense if it's actually done. Ooh, it's blue. There we go. Grab all these little pieces. And I'm sure that you all at this point probably have a favorite program. Illustrator's actually not my favorite program. It's my husband's favorite program. He does a lot of custom illustration, so clearly it's his favorite program. And sometimes I wonder if it's not my favorite program because, like, I feel like I'm constantly kind of like comparing my stuff to his, and I'm like, look at how good I did. And then I look at his and I'm like, we're not. But I mean, he's just an amazing free hand drawing artist, and he can just draw things to scale without even thinking about it. It's like his brain just works that way and mine doesn't. I'm like, hold on, I have to get my grid out. But I think probably my favorite program is probably Photoshop, and then it goes Photoshop, InDesign, Illustrator, and I have a new love and appreciation of Adobe XD. I think Adobe XD, which I didn't really get when they first came out with it, so I'm on to the circle tool now. So remember, to make those completely perfect circles, hold down Shift. I didn't really get Adobe XD, but now I really truly love it. And I have like so much fun with that program. I just finished up my MBA here at Independence last mod, and I actually used that program to prototype an app for my business idea. Because I was like, listen, I'm a graphic designer. Let me put all of my skills together. So I'm gonna prototype an app that I would use in this business. And that's exactly what I did. All right, so here's my tip. There's two ways to go about this. You can either go in and hold Shift and select all of these items, which might take you a minute, Or what you can do is just start with your black arrow tool and drag from the outside, from the way outside of the butterfly to the inside, and then holding down Shift, deselect the border. Then what we're gonna do, and if you have a 1-button mouse or your trackpad, what we're gonna do is you would control click. If you have a 2-button mouse, you would right click and you want to go to transform, reflect, and we want to vertically reflect this 90 degrees, and you can see a preview of it, and hit copy, and that's going to make a copy of it. And then I want you, before you do anything else, I want you to go up to object and group it so you don't accidentally leave like one piece behind. And we're going to drag it over here. And then once you drag it over, you can ungroup it. There's a couple that just will need to be moved, like a couple of the circles, but it saves you so much time that you don't have to redraw all of the shapes down here. You only need to shift a couple of them. Or maybe just like redraw that one. And remember, the space bar lets you move yourself, it goes right to your hand tool, which lets you move yourself around the screen. All right, so then again, back to our elliptical tool, or ellipses tool. I guess elliptical, that's, you know, like a stationary bike. I always call it the circle tool. I'm like, the circle tool, it makes circles. Let's not make this any more difficult. Let's see if we can get one good circle shape there. And his little eyes, or her little eyes, somebody's little eyes. All right, so next, all you have to do is color your butterfly in. My suggestion is to color in, let me do that, the inside shapes first, and then do the body last. So open up your swatches. If you don't like the swatches that you see, Illustrator comes with a whole bunch of swatch libraries completely embedded in Illustrator. So open up your swatch palette, go to the 3 little lines here on the side, and go down to open swatch libraries, and you've got your art history swatch libraries, your impressionism, Middle Ages, pop art. I'm gonna go with pop art, because I feel like that'll be fun. And it'll open up a whole nother section of swatch colors for you. And again, make sure that you switch it from the border to the fill color. Let's see, maybe a cool purple. And then if I want to do the same colors on the other side, all I'm going to do is select, and then I'm going to go down to my eyedropper tool and just eyedrop each of them. So that way I can have that cool mirror effect that I've got going on here. And maybe I want to make like all the circles the same color. You know, those ones that are those perfect circle shapes, maybe they are all going to be the same color. Got them all? I think so. So again, I'm going to switch them to be filled, and maybe I'll do something like bright red, or this bright red. They're probably both the same sort of bright red. And then I'm gonna do, just for time, I'm gonna grab these ones I see you right there, you know. And maybe these ones I'm going to do a gradient fill. And come on. Not black to white though. Although, yes, I am going to do black to white. And I'll show you why after, at the end. Do something fun. And again, I dropped these ones, but switch it. And I'm gonna grab, sometimes you have to zoom in to really select things. I'm gonna grab these up here. And for these ones, I'm gonna go with blue. Whoops, take off the border. And just deselect the other ones. Now I've just got this inside area, which maybe I'll just use the hot pink that I originally went with. All right, and then I just need to do the body, which I'm gonna do in this yellow. All right, so this is what I wanted to show you about the gradient. So I'm gonna grab these gradient panels that I made, and I'm actually gonna change the type of a gradient that's on there. So up here, where I've got my opacity, I'm gonna click on opacity and I'm gonna change it from normal to multiply and see how it just really, the orange starts to shine through. I think that that's a really cool thing we can do. And I'm actually gonna change this one to white and change the opacity to, maybe an overlay at 70%. Oh, I forgot the eyes. I'm actually gonna just change the eyes to black and take the border off of the body. So there you go. Fun little butterfly.